What I'm about to say is some of the most important information I've talked about on this channel. A whopping 90% of men are feeling lost.
Do women need men?
That loneliness is on the rise. Men are being hit especially hard.
Many American boys and men are struggling.
If you're feeling lost, like the other 90% of men, I have a plan for you. I'm going to make 7 episodes, starting here, episode number 1. And over the next 6 episodes, I'm going to take you from where you're at right now and make you a high-value top 1% male. First, facing the facts. We're diving into some crucial realities of the modern era. Data shows a growing gender disparity in education and employment. College sees 63% female enrollment in traditionally male sectors like healthcare and education. It's a sad fact that approximately 6 million men are affected with depression every year. Men, on average, die by suicide at a rate 4 times higher than women, and men also die due to alcohol-related accidents at a significantly higher rate, 62,000 compared to 26,000 women. There is an obvious problem here, and the problem is young men feeling disenfranchised and not being able to pick themselves up. This is why I started this channel, to help young men. So I want you to stick around, because tip 4 will change your life. Now that we understand the scope of the issue, it is time for change. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through some micro habits and mindset shifts that can have a macro impact on your life. I'll show you how to adopt the 5-minute method, talk about negative journaling, examine the 80-20 rule. Finally, embracing extreme ownership. Number 2, the 90% slump, micro habits and their macro impacts. Now that we understand the scope of the issue, let's zoom in at a micro level, our daily habits. It's often said, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're neglecting the small stuff like laundry piling up or dishes stacking up in the sink, that might just be a snapshot of where you're headed in life. It is never too late to change your habits. But if you are young and you're not paying attention to these now, it is crucial you start today. Neglecting basic responsibilities will snowball into other areas of your life, affecting your work, relationships, and mental well-being. Here's the good news. You can take charge with immediate action. I want to introduce you to a small yet powerful habit, the 5-minute rule. It's simple, practical, and time efficient. Start with a spot, any spot in your home. Set a timer for 5 minutes and get to cleaning up. Focus solely on the chosen spot. Declutter, wipe, and organize. The beauty of the 5-minute rule is its simplicity. Small, consistent efforts lead to a cleaner, more organized space. Just get in the habit of telling Siri or Alexa, start a 5-minute timer, then go to work. Why do I suggest a 5-minute rule as the first step in your journey? Just as Jordan Peterson states in his book, The 12 Rules for Life, a person should set their house in perfect order before they criticize the world. It is about starting small with things that you can control and using that to build on that foundation. 3, ditch the excuses. Recognize, reflect, and redirect. Now let's dive deeper into something many of us are guilty of, making excuses. It is human nature to seek the path of least resistance. Our brain is wired to conserve energy, which will often lead us to the path that is easy. However, herein lies the problem. Your brain is not always your friend. It's a tool, and like any tool, it's all about how you use it. If left unchecked, it will make excuses, keeping you in a comfort zone and become your prison cell. Now, here is the truth bomb. Excuses are the language of the immature. It is easy to blame our circumstances, but maturity is about owning up to our responsibilities, recognizing when we're making excuses, and taking action to change the narrative. This is where negative journaling comes into play. It is a powerful tool to decode your excuses, understand your negative thought patterns, and take corrective action. Here's how you do it. 1, start a journal, dedicate a notebook or a digital document just for this exercise. 2, daily entry. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down any negative experiences or thought processes. This could be self-doubt, anxiety, fear, or any other negative emotion. 3, record the date. Begin each journal entry with a date at the top. 4, describe the negative thought. Write down the negative thought or emotion you experienced. Be as detailed as possible. For example, I felt anxious about telling somebody about my business because I doubt my abilities. 5. Rate the intensity. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate the intensity of that negative thought or feeling, with 1 being mild and 10 being extremely intense. 6. Identify triggers. Try to identify what triggered this negative thought or feeling. Was it a specific event, interaction, or situation? Write down any relevant details. 7. Challenge the thought. After you record the negative thought, take a moment to challenge it. Ask yourself, is there evidence to support that thought, or is it just your assumptions? 8. Record any actions taken. If you took any actions in response to that negative thought, such as avoidance behavior or seeking assurance, write them down. 9. Positive affirmations. End each journal entry with a positive affirmation or a statement of self-compassion. For example, I am capable of handling this challenge. And if you're the guy that thinks positive affirmations don't work, tell that to Michael Jordan or Mark Cuban, who have all admitted to using these themselves. 10. Track progress. Over time, observe if there are changes in the intensity or frequency of these negative thoughts. Celebrate your progress and use that journal as a tool. The downside of not addressing this issue is clear: a life filled with regrets and missed opportunities. These excuses can solidify into limiting beliefs, making it even harder to break free and achieve the life you want. Now, before we move on, here is a bold statement. Learning to not listen to every thought your brain throws at you is the key to unlocking a better life. It all starts with believing you deserve better. As promised, I have something I want to tell you about. I'm so excited I can finally talk about this. 4. Charisma killers. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with entertainment. It's easy to fall into the trap of content consumption, mindlessly scrolling through videos, consuming content that leaves us in a cycle of inaction. But what if there was a shift from passively watching to passively earning? That is what the essence of these next 6 videos are about, including this one. I'm stepping up the game for you. You need to engage. And the first solid step is to apply to our waitlist. It's more than just a subscription. It's your entry into a community, a direct channel where I can share value-packed insights and guidance. The journey is about breaking free from the bottom 90% and propelling you to the top 1%, who is not just dreaming, but is doing. I do have a word of caution. This path is not for everyone. It is grueling. It will be the hardest thing you've ever done. And this is why there is a vetting process, because not everyone will be accepted. But your first step to prove to yourself that you can are these next 6 videos, including this one. They will arm you with the soft skills necessary to start improving your life. And here is where it gets real. Not all of you will become the top 1%. There is not enough room. But your journey starts here by taking the action of joining our waitlist. Stay alert and mark your calendars. The Academy will open soon, and the next video in this series drops October 26th. It is time that you shift from passive consumption to inspired action for change. Are you in? 5. The 80-20 rule, maximizing efforts, minimizing wasters. A lot of people have heard of the 80-20 rule, but when is the last time you applied it to your life? When was the last time you stopped and really thought about where your efforts were going? This is where the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle, comes into play. It suggests that 80% of our results comes from 20% of our efforts. By focusing on that crucial 20%, we can optimize our productivity and our satisfaction in life. Let's break this down. First, you need to identify the 20%. It could be a specific part of your job, certain relationships, or particular activities that generate the most positive impact in your life. Second, maximize the effort. Once you've identified that crucial 20%, allocate more time, energy, and resources there. This is about shifting your focus and resources to where it truly matters. Third, minimize the 80%. Take a look at the rest of your activity, the ones that are consuming 80% of your time, but are only contributing to 20% of your results. Find ways to minimize, automate, and even eliminate these tasks from your life. Let me show you how you apply this in the real world. First, work smart in your professional life. Identify the tasks that contribute most to your success. It could be a specific project, client, or skill, focus your efforts here. Second, nurture meaningful relationships in your personal life. Identify the relationships that bring you the most joy, support, and positive engagement. Invest your time and energy in nurturing these relationships. Third, eliminate clutter, whether it's physical clutter in your environment or digital clutter on your phone. Eliminating the unnecessary can make space for what truly matters. Ignoring the 80-20 rule can lead to burnout, frustration, and a sense of running in place where it feels like you're going nowhere. It's about working harder, not smarter. This will lead to a lack of fulfillment. Understanding and applying the 80-20 rule can lead to a sense of control, accomplishment, and satisfaction as you focus on what truly drives results in your life. 6. Mastering your fate, the doctrine of extreme ownership. I bring to your attention a life-altering philosophy, extreme ownership. This concept, created by Navy SEAL Jocko Willink, is about fully owning every aspect of your life. And that is a whole lot harder than it sounds. It's about abandoning the blame game, steering away from excuses, and taking full responsibility for our actions and all their repercussions. It is a doctrine that empowers you to take control of your life, of your career, and your personal growth. But I'm telling you, extreme ownership is not for the weak. Extreme ownership argues that you, and only you, are the master of your fate. Where you are isn't your parents' fault, society's fault, or anything, or anyone else's fault. Everything is your fault. This demands a ruthless, internal look where you bear the cross of all your failures. You failed because you weren't good enough, prepared enough, smart enough. How does one follow this brutal path? First, you must shed any victimhood. Your downfall is your own. Second, accept that all failure is the consequence of your actions or the lack of actions. Third, scrutinize every failure, dissect it until you unearth every seed of incompetence. Through a ruthless look into yourself, you will learn not only how to remedy your faults, but you will build patience when it comes to other people's shortcomings, which is exactly what you need to be a good leader. And lastly, strive for improvement relentlessly. You should be outside of your comfort zone more often than inside of it. Extreme ownership is not about being fair or kind to yourself. It's about holding oneself to a standard of accountability that would break weaker minds. And when you do that to the outside world, you'll become unbreakable. You will become a role model, encouraging others to also take ownership of their actions and their decisions, which is what my academy and these next 6 videos are going to be about. They will not be easy. They will not be for weaker minds. So make sure to keep an eye out because the next video in this series drops October 26th. You won't want to miss it. Let's look at the blueprint of today's video. You want to start by implementing the 5-minute rule. You set a 5-minute timer and clean up your space. Small, consistent efforts create big results over time. Try negative journaling. Write down your negative thoughts and excuses. Then challenge them. This builds awareness. Then you'll want to use the 80-20 rule. Identify and focus on the 20% of tasks that give you 80% of the results. Work smarter, not harder. And finally, practice extreme ownership. Take full responsibility for your actions and outcomes. Along with these quick tricks, having the right mindset is key. Be solution focused, take risks, and learn from your mistakes. Until next video, see you boys next time.